Tesla dominates electric vehicle sales globally. The first quarter sales numbers were released, and not only in the United States, but the entire planet, the leader in electric vehicle sales is Tesla by a pretty large margin. In one country, I think it's Belgium, the Tesla Model Y sat on top of the best-selling cars, not EV, but cars in the country, and sold more cars in a single month than any other brand in the history of the countries tracking that statistic. So it's clear that the predicted S-curve adoption rate for electric vehicles has begun. A couple of years ago, legacy brands like Ford, General Motors, and Volkswagen started to pivot towards EVs. The effort that it takes to transition from internal combustion engine, known as ICE, to EVs is pretty significant, and these companies are not the most nimble creatures on earth. But they're in the process of making that pivot in order to line up with the S-curve adoption rate for electric vehicles. Ford has been in the news quite a bit recently with their Blue Oval City build-out. GM, not so much, and I felt as though they were underserved in people making videos on legacy car brands. There's been a lot about Volkswagen, there's been a lot about Ford, but not a lot about GM. So I decided to make a video about what GM is going to be doing. Here's a quick video on their Ultium platform.
The future of electric starts now. Two global leaders are combining manufacturing and electrochemical expertise to power the next generation of electric vehicles. The best large format cells with an estimated range of up to 450 miles and energy ranges from 50 to more than 200 kilowatt hours. Ultium cells are powering the front, rear, and all-wheel drive vehicles of the future. Our revolutionary platform reconfigures to accommodate a wide range of electric vehicles, driving down costs for consumers and driving our world closer to zero emissions. Our dedication to the future is undeniable. Ultium Cells is energizing and bringing new opportunities to communities.
Here in Warren, Ohio, Ultium Cells' $2.3 billion investment is creating 1,100 jobs.
Our 2.8 million square foot facility is producing the battery cells that will power GM's Hummer EV.
In Springhill, Tennessee, Ultium Cells expansion includes a second 2.8 million square foot facility that will create 1,300 new jobs. Our Springhill site will manufacture the cells that will power the next generation of Cadillac. We understand that it's what's inside that counts with our batteries and with our people.
We're bringing the best of LG and GM and creating a culture all our own.
With the ingenuity of our people backed by technology and manufacturing expertise, Ultium Cells is transforming the way electric vehicles are powered.
The future of electric is here.
The future of electric is now.
So as you can see, they're pretty invested in the electric future, at least the video claims to be. What we have here is the home charger that GM has partnered with a company called Flow, which is a Canadian company, in order to make. This can go into customer homes. It can also be in dealerships. In fact, GM has a program now where they're providing these chargers to dealers who can then have them installed throughout the community if they wish. And they're encouraging dealers to do so, and that project has already started. I believe this is called the Core Max charger from Flow, and it's being built in an Auburn Hills, Michigan plant in order to get the requirement for American built for the tax credits satisfied. Flow built a new plant in agreement with General Motors and their new partnership for this charger. They have multiple cars that they're building on the new Ultium platform. Let me just run down what GM currently has. The existing electric vehicle that General Motors offers is something called a Bolt, B-O-L-T, and it comes in an EV and an EUV form factor, the EUV being a little bit bigger. It's assembled in Orion, Michigan. In the first quarter of 2023, they sold 20,000 of them. It's been in the market for about 5 years, maybe as much as 7, I don't remember, and it directly competes with the Nissan Leaf. That was the intended use of it. Now, because the adoption of electric vehicles due to Tesla's leadership has created this S-curve adoption, the Bolt has really seen a terrific amount of high demand, but it is not an Ultium platform vehicle. It's an older technology. It was the successor to the Volt, V-O-L-T, which was a hybrid electric that Chevy put out before the Bolt. And then the Bolt is the all-electric derivative of that. They no longer make the Volt, and from what I understand, the Bolt itself is going to be retired as the Ultium cars take over. There's a new factory, actually it's not a new factory, it's going to be a retrofitted factory that had been shuttered in Hamtramck, Detroit area. It's called the Detroit-Hamtramck Assembly Center. This is where the GMC Hummer EV and Hummer EV pickup are being built, along with the Silverado EV, the pickup truck. There's no audio here, but you can see the layout of Factory Zero. As I said, it was a previously built factory from 1985 that was shuttered through one of the downturns of General Motors and is now being retooled for electric vehicle production. Not only are they producing electric vehicles, they're also going to be making batteries, as you'll see right here. There's a battery assembly plant right there. Very large facility, and it's nice to see some of the Rust Belt come out of storage and actually start producing some electric vehicles. So they have this additional capacity that they can turn on as they need to. They don't actually need to build new factories. Here's another factory. This is the Springhill assembly plant, which is a flexible assembly plant. They could produce both internal combustion engine vehicles and electric vehicles in this one plant. In order to power all these electric vehicles, General Motors has long ago put in plans to make their own batteries so they don't have to rely on someone else. They've partnered with LG Electronics for the chemistry associated with the battery manufacturing, but they also have plants that are being built for the production of the actual batteries for the Ultium cars. The first one that was completed was in Lordstown, Ohio. You can see it pictured here. It is 2.8 million square feet, and it has 1.3 thousand employees. This is currently in production for Ultium batteries. Form factor of these batteries are known as pouches, which is a little bit different than the batteries that are in Tesla vehicles. And there's some back and forth about which is better, which is worse, but basically they're all very close to being the same. probably won't see a dramatic shift until we get to solid state batteries somewhere in the later half of this decade. Additional Ultium cell plants that are being built, one in Lansing, Michigan, is currently under construction. The one in Springhill, Tennessee, which was the flexible plant the Cadillac Lyriq is being produced in, they're also making an Ultium battery plant there as well. And then there's somewhere in the state of Indiana at a yet-to-be-determined location, there's said to be another Ultium plant. So that's 3 factories that are currently in the process of being built and 1 factory that is currently open. So to go through the cars that GM has to offer, this is their commercial delivery vehicle called the BrightDrop ZEVO 600. It has a 250-mile range, which is sufficient for delivery vehicle routes. Obviously, you're not going to do cross-country deliveries or transport with this thing, but inner-city delivery routes, 250 miles is sufficient. And this is currently in production. Again, very quietly, it's starting to do a ramp-up on this. Of course, the Cadillac Lyriq that we saw in the other video, this actually churned out 1,000 units delivered in Q1 2023 on the Ultium platform. So although it seems as though GM is behind the curve in EV production, there's 2 things that they have going for them. The legacy Bolt EV and EUV has sold 20,000 in Q1 2023, and the Cadillac Lyriq sold 1,000 in Q1 2023. That's quite a few vehicles, and they're in the process of ramping up. Their target is 150,000 electric vehicles by the end of the year. And it's supposed to be by June, they're going to be at 50,000, and then they're going to double up on that for the second half of the year, producing 100,000 in Q3 and Q4. It seems like a very doable goal. And that being said, at 150,000 vehicles produced basically in their first year on the new Ultium platform, that sounds pretty good. And then after that, they're going to be ramping up. Other cars they're making are the Silverado EV, which is their flagship pickup truck.
The Silverado EV doesn't just set the standard for all electric pickups. It sets the bar for traditional truck capability and completely reimagines what a truck can be. We will offer several variants of the Silverado EV, starting with a work truck and a higher-end RST model in late 2023. Our clean slate approach allowed us to create a new body architecture, which efficiently leverages the available 24-module Ultium battery pack as part of the fundamental structure, which enables our impressive range. This structural design integrates the capability Silverado customers have come to expect from a full-size pickup in terms of strength, durability, and performance, while also providing a more comfortable, confident ride both on and off-road. Offering a GM estimated range of 400 miles on a full charge on both work truck and RST models, Silverado EV customers get all they can expect from a Chevy truck and so much more. And standard DC fast charging capabilities of up to 350 kilowatts enable the Silverado EV to add approximately 100 miles of range in only 10 minutes on public DC fast chargers. 2 motors deliver power to the available 24-inch wheels on RST, improving vehicle responsiveness and control. The power is impressive and immediate. At the push of a button on the RST, wide open watts mode delivers at least 664 horsepower and an impressive 780 foot-pounds of torque at the driver's disposal, boasting a GM estimated 0 to 60 time of under 4.5 seconds. The chassis is designed with independent rear suspension. Add to that automatic adaptive air suspension, and the Silverado EV can raise and lower up to nearly 2 inches in each direction. 4-wheel steering offers a tighter turning radius at low speeds, and improved handling and stability at higher speeds, including great trailering dynamics. The RST model offers up to 10,000 pounds of towing capability and 1,300 pounds of payload. When it comes to power in the Silverado EV, we went above and beyond traditional truck performance. When combined with the available accessory power bar, the power-based charging system offers up to 10 outlets to provide a total of 10.2 kilowatts of all-electric power available for your campsite, job site, and even your home. The Silverado EV is capable of charging another EV using the available accessory charge cord. The possibilities are truly endless. And we can't forget available Super Cruise with trailering, the industry's first true hands-free driver assistance technology for compatible roads. Last, but certainly not least, the Silverado EV will offer a comprehensive suite of standard and available safety features. Together, these technologies give drivers more confidence behind the wheel.
So that's going to be competing with the Tesla Cybertruck and the Ford F-150 Lightning. There's also a Blazer.
Blazer EV is designed to evoke an emotional response.
This thing moves fast.
This design is super dynamic. It's really beautiful.
Wow, this is some pretty exciting stuff in this Blazer EV.
This is amazing.
Yeah, this is the Blazer EV.
I love the shape.
Definitely. It's got a dramatic profile and that lower, longer, wider stance that we got out of the Ultium platform. It's very apparent when you first see it.
I'm loving these lights. The shape.
Yeah, we wanted to have a very dynamic first impression. So
This video is a little bit winded, so I'm going to pause here. Feel free to see it online if you wish. And then they have something called an Equinox, which is one of their existing models that they're turning into an electric vehicle also. The form factor is going to be very similar to the existing Equinox. The difference being the cost of this EV is going to be one of the lowest entry point electric vehicles in the market at right around $30,000 from what we understand. Also, because the batteries are built in the United States and the vehicle is built in the United States, it'll be able to have the federal tax credits applied to it. And here is the Chevrolet Bolt that is in its last model year run, either next year or 2024. We're not quite sure when, but it's definitely on its way out. But currently the leader for GM.
Super Cruise is the first truly hands-free driving assist technology being offered in the industry.
Personally, I was skeptical. I thought it was going to be somewhat of a gimmick, like, ooh, look at me, I'm letting go of the steering wheel. And I said, well, give it to me and I'll take it to a soccer tournament. On the way there, I ended up using it pretty much the whole way. On the way back, I used it exclusively on the freeway. I went hours without actually touching the system. I was just watching the world go by and enjoying the trip.
Super Cruise works basically on two specific technologies. The first technology is a precision LiDAR map data, and the second technology is a driver attention system. The driver attention system is specifically responsible for making sure that the customer's gaze stays on the road, and the precision LiDAR maps helps us to geofence the feature so that it only works on compatible freeways.
The benefit to Super Cruise is that it really allows you to relax. Rather than you constantly adjusting your speed and steering, Super Cruise will do that for you. So it works its way through traffic jams as well as long distances.
When it comes to Super Cruise, I always just tell people they have to drive it.
And the Super Cruise will be available in the Ultium cars as well. So although Tesla is the leader in electric vehicles, and we are in the process of an S-curve adoption rate for electric vehicles, there is a certain amount of brand loyalty that is very evident. So as soon as GM starts producing electric vehicles in sufficient quantities, I think what you'll see is a large market share gain by General Motors. Now, their hope is they're going to be able to overtake Tesla, but those are pretty high hopes. I would say in the short term, their goal should be to overtake Ford, and it looks like that should be achievable. With 150,000 vehicles electrified sold by the end of 2023, and then the ramp up from there, the existing plants being converted and new plants being built, and then making their own batteries. My personal opinion is, although there's a lot of shade being talking about General Motors, I think their future is quite bright.